everyone. I hope you all are fine and doing well. Today we are going to discuss about kids nutrition and what foods should we include in your kids diet. What are the superfoods? Now, as parents, we all want to provide the best nutrition and nourishment to our kids, but sometimes unknowingly our behavior as parents can stop or compromise our kids from reaching their optimal health. Now, what is the first thing that a kid learns? The first thing a kid learns is to unlock a phone and to use electronic gadgets. Why do we do that? Because they either very cranky or to distract them or to make them eat, we play a funny video or some kind of song which will let them eat or distract their mind out of whatever is bothering them. So, what I'm trying to say is from a very young age, they are exposed to blue light, which is affecting their brain and their mental health as well, their memory. Sometimes I wonder that, our ancestors at that time, what did they do when all these gadgets were not there? Were kids fussy even at that time? I'm sure kids would have thrown some tantrums. So, how did they calm their child? What did they do at that point of time? That is something that we should all think of. Now, I know that getting children to eat can be a task and it takes a lot of time. But what I want to say is, I know now it is the lockdown and, moms are more busier than ever because from home you have to manage the cooking, the food, the kids, and work and calls coming in. But do not neglect your child's health. Always keep that as a priority. You know why sometimes kids throw tantrums? The reason they throw tantrums or they take too long to eat is because they want to spend time with you. They want that love and that attention and that affection from you, which maybe they are not getting. So understand that is a good time when you sit one on one with your kids to understand, what they feel, what are their emotions, how do they react with food. Make their experience with food enjoyable. Make them feel very happy. So give time to your kids. Don't put something playing or let them watch TV while you handle on other things. Sit with them and give them that time. You will notice a lot of difference. Now, I know some parents use fear to make the children eat. If you don't eat this vegetable, you will get injection or some kind of fear in this way. Now, your job as a parent would be done. The kid out of fear would finish everything on the plate. But can you believe the amount of stress that is there within that child? And in under what stress he or she finished that entire meal? So never use fear as a tool to make children eat. Let me tell you, none of those nutrients are going to be absorbed in that child's body. So never use fear as a tool. Now, as parents, we always feel the child has not eaten enough and we force feed them. That is one of the biggest mistakes that we do. Do not force feed. Okay, children are very intuitive, they are very mindful, they exactly know when to stop. Their sense of fullness is very strong as compared to adults. So the minute they say no, they're not even going to take one morsel more. So don't force feed. You'll notice sometimes that the entire thing comes out. So respect that. They know when to stop. Do not force feed. Because when you force feed the child, um, their appetite increases and then they lose that sense of fullness. So do not force feed. If you're worried that the child has not eaten anything, just leave it. They will come back when they are hungry and they will eat. So you don't have to, you may have a mindset that every 2 to 3 hours to give, but the child may not be hungry. So you're doing more harm than actually doing good. So the child has its own mind, its intuition, and it will come to you when it is hungry. So respect that. Now, in your family, do you have a concept of eating breakfast? Why I'm asking is because the behaviors you instill right now is what they are going to carry on in adulthood. And in adulthood, when they come to me or nutritionist, and when we take a recall and ask, what do you have for breakfast? So the answer will be breakfast is actually skipped. We directly have lunch. Why? Because from childhood I've never had breakfast. These are some of the answers that we get. So make sure that breakfast is made. It can be any Indian breakfast, healthy breakfast that is available, rather than opening a packaged box of cereal and milk or giving a glass of milk. How many of you force kids to finish that glass of milk? Let me tell you, it's not compulsory to feed milk to children. If they don't want, it's okay. Milk is not the only source of calcium. There are so many sources of calcium that they can opt for. Some kids love having milk. So in that case, you can give them milk. Make sure it's organic, desi cow's milk that you're giving them. But otherwise, there's no need to force. There are many sources of calcium that they can have, and make sure their calcium requirements are met. Do not force feed or give them milk to drink. Also, do not use junk food in terms of a reward. Be very careful with that. I'm not saying that it is bad. I know in this time that we are living, they are exposed to the junk and that kind of sugar, but in limit. I know they are children. The problem is when there is an overconsumption of junk food, of packaged food. How much of junk and packaged food is there in your house? How much of cookies and sweets and biscuits is your child consuming? Because let me tell you, once they develop that taste for junk, it's very difficult to stop. And healthy food does not match to that level of, if you understand what I'm talking, that level of that those taste buds that you get from that junk and refined food. It's very difficult to compete with that. And all these processed foods are so tasty because of the emulsifiers, the preservatives, and the high fructose corn syrup that's added in them, which makes them super delicious. So refrain from giving all these things too much. Next, what I want to talk about is physical activity. I know during this time it's difficult to go out and play as freely as possible, but make sure even at home they are walking. They are not only sitting behind a screen. I know online schools are going on, but make sure after that they are pretty active. They are working or they are playing some games with their siblings or something, rather than just sitting down. So, and if you have a bit older kids, start making walk, let them walk, because physical activity is very, very, very important. So let's talk about superfoods that you should include in your kids' diet. So first thing is pumpkin seeds. Now, kids may not have that taste developed for seeds. So what you can do is soak your pumpkin seeds. You can soak almonds and walnuts as well. Now, why we are soaking? Now, nuts and seeds contain anti-nutrients, and they are naturally present to protect them from infestation from insects. So it's important that when you soak them, you are breaking those anti-nutrients so it's easily absorbed in the body. So once that is soaked, you can dry roast it and then powder it with fennel powder also. So you powder it and then you can add it in their milk. You can add it in chapati. You can, if there is gulkhand, if you have gulkhand, you can mix that powder with gulkhand, put it in cold milk and give them to drink. So it's really tasty and I'm sure they would love it. Next superfood is beetroot. Beetroot, again, you can give them in the form of a salad. You can grate it, add it in a paratha, or you can make a raita or a beetroot, even lassi or chas is really good. So you can include beetroot in their diet that ways. Dals. I know there are kids who don't like dals and pulses. So a way for you to incorporate that in their diet is to add dal in their rotis. So in that way, the child will consume also without knowing, but you know what you have added into it. But otherwise, include dals, different kind of dals that are available, green leafy vegetables that are seasonally available. Okay, and sometimes children don't like the taste, or I can say because of the way it is prepared. So try making it in a different way. So there are some who don't like mutton or green peas. They don't like dried green peas. But you make it in a curry form, children happily eat it. So see how they like, in what form they like. I know there are so many people who don't like bhindi, that's lady finger, because when it is cooked, it's really mushy and you can see those strings. So what you should do in that case is keep roasting it till that stringiness goes and then add the vegetable and masala, because I know even adults don't like it for this simple reason, because it is very stringy and mushy. So just by changing the way you cook, you will notice your child would start loving. They love to have bhindi. So these were some of the examples that why they may not like. If they still don't like it, then don't force them. Okay, but that doesn't mean that you go extreme and only cook separately what they like. You need to teach them gradually to eat everything. Otherwise, I get cases where mothers complain ki my child eats only aloo and only maybe one particular vegetable. That is a bit too much. So make sure that gradually you introduce the foods and they start liking to eat. Next superfood is sattu. Sattu is actually flour that is made from besan or jaw, that is barley. So the seeds are ground into a powder, very rich in protein, especially if you're a vegetarian. 2 scoops of that, add it with water or in your chas. You can just simply drink it. It's like a protein shake. It's a very economical, reasonable protein shake, and your children are going to be super healthy by just having. I can say that is a kids protein shake. You can say very healthy to include that in your kids diet. Sattu. And then coconut rich in medium chain triglycerides, very good for your skin and brain. So make sure you give them coconut to eat as a snack. If they munch on that, that is also really good essential kind of fats that are getting into their system. So these were some of the foods and the ways that you can include in their diet. Do let me know if you have any more questions or queries on kids' health. If you want to ask anything specific, I would love to respond to all of you. So that was it for this video. Thank you for watching. We'll meet again next time. Till then, take care, be happy, eat healthy, eat smart, and move.